Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Haunted America. Today's show features another Reddit ghost story sent in by OK Beginning 9744. And the name of the story is
Ouija board in haunted cemetery.
We're 2 seconds into the show and we're already misreading names of stories.
Yeah. Should be a good one.
All this plus our thoughts and comments on today's episode of
Haunted America.
Before we get started with the podcast, if you guys would like to get your hands on some of the same equipment we use when we're out there investigating, check out the links down below to equipment such as spirit boxes, REM pods, and EVP recorders. These are just a few of the things that can help you get started with your own investigations. We do get a small commission every time you guys use one of our links.
And please rate and review on whatever platform you're listening on. It helps the algorithm and pushes us out to newer listeners. Also, if you would like your stories read on the show as part of America's Encounters, email us at hauntedamericapodcast@gmail.com. That's hauntedamericapodcast@gmail.com.
Now, let's get into the show. Alrighty, so this story is Ouija board in a haunted cemetery, not all the mumbo jumbo that Jesse messed up in the beginning. For some backstory, this happened in the Greenwood Cemetery in Spokane, Washington. The Greenwood Cemetery here is locally famous for being haunted. There's a specific old broken staircase leading into the cemetery called 1000 Steps. And many people in my city have stories about seeing entities on the steps and feeling odd and depressed while walking up them. My story doesn't take place on the steps, but rather in the actual cemetery. My friends and I did use the 1000 Steps entrance, though, to enter the cemetery. This happened 3 or 4 years ago, 2021, 2022. A group of my friends, I, 2 male and 1 female, decided we'd go to the Greenwood Cemetery and bring in a Ouija board. Not a good start there. Probably bad decision. I'm gonna be so real. The idea for the Ouija board was 100% mine. I used to play with them semi-often, and this is the only experience I've had that actually frightened me.
My friends and I walked around a bit looking at headstones, and my friend, female, and I decided we wanted to have a picture taken of us together. So our other friend, male 1, took a photo of us. Immediately after the photo was taken, male 1 showed us the weird entity standing behind me in the photo. In the picture, I blocked out my friend because I'm not sure she'd want to be associated with this online. We began looking in the area behind where we had taken the photo for anything that could have caused a shadow. That could have caused a shadow-looking thing behind me. Male 1 decided to take a picture of the area directly behind us to see if anything would pop up again. Nothing did. In the first photo, entity photo, on the right side of me, you can see the headstone of the second photo slightly beside my legs, although I'm blocking majority of the headstone.
After we decided, yeah, no, that's definitely a ghost, we moved closer to the way we came in. There was a large cement circle in the ground, probably 10 to 15 feet in diameter, and we all sat there and talked for a bit. I brought out the Ouija board and asked if anyone wanted to try it with me. Turns out I'm the dumb white person from every horror movie because every friend present said no.
Yeah.
We were all a bit on edge due to the picture. I decided I'd play it by myself. It was a dumb idea.
Yep.
I am a very observant and down-to-earth person. I usually notice things that are weird before my friends do. But for some reason, while playing with the Ouija board that night, it felt like my brain had gone a bit fuzzy. Almost like my defenses were completely lowered as soon as my fingers were on the planchette.
I began asking my typical Ouija board's questions. Is anyone with me? Am I alone? How old are you? Did you live on Earth as a human?
Really quick, these are all questions you can ask with a dang spirit box without having to touch a frickin' Ouija board.
Yeah.
I
lot
I
more,
stand on this. Ouija boards are the worst thing you can frickin' do when trying to communicate with spirits.
a lot more rules with the Ouija board.
Jeez.
The spirit was only sliding the planchette to yes or the letter U. I didn't catch on, but my friends did. I asked the spirit, "Is there something you'd like to tell us?" The planchette circled to the letter U again. I asked, "Is there something you want?" Once again circled U. Boy. I still, at this point, did not really realize fully what the spirit was saying. I asked, "Do you mean someone in my group?" It circled you. I asked, "Do you mean you as in myself?"
I cannot remember if my friends let the spirit answer or if they made me say goodbye before we got an answer. They were terrified, and rightfully so. I ended the Ouija board, and as soon as my hands were off the planchette, I felt immediately anxious. I felt extremely on edge and actually started to process what the hell was happening. We left right after that. Male 2, whom I was the closest to at the time, couldn't stop commenting on how weird it was that I didn't end the game the first time it said you, and how I was completely out of character for me to not have an ounce of anxiety while playing the game. It's not a game.
No.
This it's not a game.
It's not a game. I still don't know if the entity in the picture and the spirit I talked to were the same. Honestly, I don't care to find out. I wish there was more to say to the story, but alas, I don't think anything attached to me. I didn't have any unusual things happen after this. Oh, boy.
First thing, and thing I already said before, stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Do you want me coming home with you? Do you want me following you? Don't use an Ouija board. I will follow you home.
Don't touch Ouija boards.
It's crazy that Mattel sold that as a game.
a toy.
Game.
A toy, pretty much.
Yeah, to like ages, 6 to 12 or something? That's insane, man.
It is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I get it. Everybody has their own way of communicating with spirits, but if you're gonna do it, use conventional things, not a freaking Ouija board. You don't know what you're opening. Well, I guess there's an argument on both sides because you don't really know what you're opening when you
That's what
turn on a spirit box or whatever.
That's exactly what I was going to
But
say.
there are more horror stories when people use Ouija boards.
Yes.
You get more stories about crazier things happening or whatever. I feel like you're more protected when you use a conventional way of communicating, spirit box, REM pods, all that other kind of crap.
I think there's more symbolism on the Ouija boards and intent, whether you realize it or not, in the Ouija boards that may call upon other things that you don't realize you're calling upon, rather than just walking around with a recorder and an EMF detector and asking questions. I think it's quite different.
Huh. Okay. So if you guys want to yourself, find this story on Reddit. The name of the story again is Ouija Board in Haunted Cemetery, and it's posted by OK Beginnings 9744. We scroll down to the comments here, and the poster originally says, "I cannot post the pics, let me find a loophole." And then he posts a Google Doc in the comment section. And in there are the two photos of the one that they took right after with the spirit not showing up, and then the one that they took right next to each other. How do we zoom in here again?
Control
plus.
Yeah, bud. There's definitely something back there.
Right there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's something weird to the right of the friend, too. I don't know what that is. That could be another gravestone, I suppose.
There is definitely spirits in these pictures.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and the other one is showing where the tombstone is and obviously where they're standing. So if you guys want to check that out yourself, I would definitely go to Reddit and look at the photos because it's very interesting. This is true. This is a true story.
Yep.
So let's see here. Let's get into the comment voice.
Comment voice? Oh, yeah. Okay. This is a very crazy demon encounter. Thanks for sharing. I'm glad you're safe.
And then the original poster says it was definitely very surreal. Glad no one had anything bad happen for sure. And then he posts the Google Docs.
And then right here, another commenter says, and the ghost was on your side too. Jesus, what an encounter. Have you ever tried an Ouija board again since? And follow-up question, did you ever meet this entity again?
Look, if you don't know what you're doing with Ouija boards, don't do it.
You shouldn't do it to begin with. And the commenter or the original poster says, I actually haven't used an Ouija board since, not out of fear, but I don't have one. I've always used friends, and I just haven't bought one.
You can make one, but don't.
For reference here, so for those that know Ghost Adventures crew, Nick Groff obviously left Ghost Adventures a while back. He's doing his own thing now, and we are in the Western New York area, and Nick Groff is doing a ton of stuff in the Western New York area. Actually, last night at the time of this recording, he was live at a haunted location in Lewiston, New York, which is only about 25-30 minutes away from where we're at now. And at his, season 2 premiere of Deathwalker, right? Because season 3 just came out, or was it season 4?
I think season 4 just
Whatever.
came out.
One of his season premieres for Deathwalker, he had at the Riviera Theater in North Tonawanda, and we went. He was selling Ouija boards.
Yeah, he was.
Autographed Ouija boards.
Yep.
In the freaking lobby.
Yeah.
Like, I was so upset seeing that. I stayed clear of that whole little
surprised.
area because and I didn't touch one and pick it up to look at it. Like,
I did buy the shirt though that has the Ouija board on it, but that's
yeah,
different.
it's different. That's not an actual physical Ouija board.
He was selling legit like Ouija boards.
That one threw me through a loop because I didn't, you would think that smart paranormal investigators know what kind of holes you can open with Ouija boards.
Yeah, but
and wouldn't want to be selling them, whether it be for a display piece only because it was autographed or used for trying to communicate with the afterlife.
well, there are a lot of members in the ghost hunting community that, do have their spiritual background and they know how to use these boards and protect themselves. But your average everyday person, just, a Reddit poster over here, doesn't know.
Yeah, they lay it down, put their hands on the planchette, and whatever happens type thing.
At least
they don't say a prayer or anything before it happens. They don't.
Yeah.
And you don't even, I guess, have to say a prayer. Just tell whatever spirits that you're about to be communicating with, only let positive energy come through. Try to protect yourself in some sort of way.
Surround yourself with light.
Yeah.
Of protection. At least this guy knew enough to say goodbye at the end, because that is one of the biggest mistakes people who mess around with these boards.
Yeah, they just take their hands off and walk away.
That leaves the board completely open, that anything can still come through because you haven't finished the session.
So I guess our thoughts on this is good by ending the story, bad by starting with a Ouija board to begin with. Go and investigate this place again if you want to, this Greenwood Cemetery. But maybe this time do it with more basic investigating tools.
Bring an EVP recorder, bring an EMF detector, and see what comes up then.
Yeah, if you feel like splurging, get an SLS. That way you can actually see the spirits.
The
or something like
SLS
that.
is one of the best things I ever bought.
But 100% do not recommend the Ouija board.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Haunted America. I have been your host, Dalton Taylor.
And I'm Jess Trapasso.
And until the next time, this has been
Haunted America.